Welcome to Hot Take. Today is October 3rd, 2018. My name is Andrew Myrick, and I'm joined by Matt Adams, Donovan Jessica, and Kane Riddick. Today we saw the unveiling of the LG V40 ThinQ and the LG Watch W7. And boy, oh boy, do we have some thoughts on these new products. You guys can talk now.
What's up?
You didn't ask us how we're doing, Andrew.
You didn't? Yeah, man. We have a system here. You gotta ask us how we're doing.
Sorry, whoever edited my script didn't throw that one in there, so thanks to that guy. So we're gonna. Okay, so we're going to start off with a smaller product announced today, the Watch W7. Kian, since you love this product so much, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, well, I'm going to preface that by saying I don't love it so much, but I do actually really like it. If you're unaware, Watch 7 is LG's latest watch after the Urbane thing that was like a few years ago. But it sports wearerless, of course. It has a 1.2-inch LCD display. It has Snapdragon 2100 instead of a 3100 that we were hoping for and expecting. It also has a crown on the side with two with two buttons also on the side. It's IP68 proof, and that's pretty much all of the normal stuff that it is. The Watch 7 also, the W7 also has two mechanical hands, the first ever Android Wear smartwatch to have two mechanical hands. With these hands, you can have your watch in watch-only mode, which will last up to 100 days, according to LG. And in the smart mode, the normal mode that, you know, Android Wear and notifications and whatnot, if the battery dies, then the watch hands will still work for 3 to 5 days. And lastly, but not insignificantly, this watch was made with Soprod, which is a Swiss watch manufacturer. So, how do you guys feel about this watch?
It is completely irrelevant.
Oh my god.
No, I want to know, how much is it going to cost, Ken?
Yeah, Ken, how much is it going to cost?
It's going to cost $450,
oh
you guys.
God.
That's why it's dead on arrival.
Yeah, and now it's completely irrelevant.
No, there's so much. There's other smartwatches that cost more. What are you talking
It
about?
doesn't matter. You just said yourself it doesn't come with the Snapdragon Wear 3100 chip, which is coming out in a couple months. So why would I go spend $450 or whatever it is on a watch that is outdated by 2 years?
You want me to give you two reasons? Two reasons to buy this?
Go.
Mechanical hands.
That's one reason.
I don't care.
There's two mechanical hands.
That's like going in. That's like saying I'm gonna go buy an LG G5 in 2018 because it has sweet modules like
for $1,000.
No, modules are outdated now. Mechanical hands are the new thing.
No, mechanical hands have been on watches forever. They're not new.
So you're saying watches, you're saying your two reasons are minute hand and hour hand?
Yes. Yes.
Man, revolutionary. That's not as courageous as Apple removing the headphone.
If I could count all the times that I didn't wear my smartwatch because it wasn't charged and I couldn't tell the time, it'd be like a lot of times. But now I could use the watch, the W7, with the two mechanical hands, and I could use it for 100 days if I wanted to.
Okay, one, a lot of times. Come on, man, you're killing me, Smalls. You're supposed to be a writer.
I don't have a precise number.
And two,
for you.
charge your watch, bro. Charge your watch.
I can't charge my watch every night. That's so much.
Yes, you can.
So much things.
I believe in you. Put it next to your bed, and when you go to sleep, take it off and put it on the charger.
I mean, I do that with my watch now, but if I didn't have
You've been doing it with your phone since phones have been phones.
I don't charge my phone every night. I do not do that at all. Sorry to disappoint.
This is why you have headphones.
If this watch, if the W7 had the 3100 instead of the 2100, with everything else that it has,
for $450.
For $450, is it worth the price tag?
Matt.
No.
What?
No.
What don't you like about the watch?
I have no problem with the watch. I have a problem with it being $450. And I'll tell you why. Because there's going to be more watches that are coming out with that same hardware that will cost less. They may not have the mechanical hands or whatever. That's not really a big deal to me. But you're going to have watches that are coming out. I mean, I believe we already have watches that are announced with that chip. Is that correct? I thought we had some coming out later this year.
Yeah, coming out that are going to have 100 confirmed.
So why would I pay $450 for this when I can go buy one that also has the new processor and will have, you know, the same software for 250 or $300? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Why would you buy a Note 9 because it has a Snapdragon 845 instead of buying the One Plus because it has a Snapdragon 845?
No, it's not. This would be like if Samsung released an S10 with an 835, last year's model.
Right.
I guess. I don't
also,
know.
Do we know how much RAM this thing has?
I didn't. I mean, I can find out for you.
I feel like that matters.
768 megabytes.
I mean, that's a lot for a watch, but it's not like
it's a lot for a watch from 2015.
Yeah, I think aren't they like 1.5 now?
Not usually.
No, I think they're pretty much standard at 768. I don't know if that's a limitation of the processor, but sure that seems to be it seems to be pretty standard across the watches with the 2100.
I don't know. I like the design, and I do like the fact that it has mechanical hands. That's actually like a really big thing to me, just because I forget to charge my watch all the time, and I like wearing watches.
I do think that's cool. I guess the reason it doesn't matter to me that much is because every watch face that I use doesn't have hands on it anyways, or doesn't, you know, it's all digital time that I have, and I usually use the workout feature or the like step tracking and stuff more often. But I do see how like it's a nice looking watch, and I do see how someone would be interested in something that has the mechanical hands. I just don't see it at $450, and it's an LG product, so you all know in 3 months it's going to be
I don't see it done well at all, but I do like the watch.
No.
Or you can just save $200 and go get the TicWatch Pro, which is probably better.
Right.
Which does not look nearly as good.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised.
It's on my wrist right now.
I'm surprised that analog watches are still a thing. I really thought they would have gone completely out of style in the last couple of years.
No, I have a Fossil one and I love it.
Yeah, it's not about like the features or whatever. It's just it looks classier than a smartwatch.
It does.
I think we'll get past that eventually, and people will probably crucify me for saying this, but I think Apple is helping there because Apple's watch does not look like, you know, a classic watch, but it's the best-selling watch in the world.
But if Google would do what they were supposed to do, if Google would do what they were supposed to do and release like I just had the word and I lost it. Basically a reference point for other OEMs to go off of for a flagship smartwatch with Wear OS on board. Now that they have the new 2.1 update, that looks a lot better than what we had before. Then I feel like Wear OS could actually not make a dent against Apple Watch, because that's not going to happen at this point. But you could still provide a great experience for Android users.
Yeah, I completely agree.
If they released a reference, that's all you have to do.
A lasting reference as well, because with Apple, everybody knows their products last longer. I need a watch that lasts longer than 2 years, and the Huawei watch was a great starting point, but that quickly got changed because everybody's focused on fitness right now.
That's the watch I'm looking for, is the Watch GT or whatever that leaked earlier this week.
Yeah.
But
anyways,
enough about Kian's next watch.
It's not my watch. Next watch.
LG did not only announce the new smartwatch today, they also announced the V40 ThinQ. The device has a 6.4-inch POLED display, 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio, Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, 6 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of expandable storage up to 2 terabytes, 3,300 milliamp hour battery, and the actual fun stuff, 5 total cameras. We've got 2 front-facing cameras, an 8 megapixel and a 5 megapixel, and 3 rear-mounted cameras with a 12 megapixel standard lens, 16 megapixel ultra-wide, and 12 megapixel telephoto, which is exactly what I wanted them to do.
It is. I remember that.
So weird.
And shut up. And we've got fast wireless charging, which is incredible for LG.
Right.
It's IP68 water resistant the military standard. I'm not going to read it out. It's compliant. HDR10, 32-bit quad DAC, which is expected from LG in the LG V series is expected. Bang & Olufsen certified, so I'm sure that means its sound will probably sound good. And Quick Charge 3.0, which is said to give you a 50% charge in 36 minutes, which is...
And with that small battery, you're going to need it.
It's better than the G7.
It's true.
But price, it's $980 from Verizon.
Of course it is.
It's $980 from Verizon. U.S. Cellular is killing everyone with a price of $900. T-Mobile's got it for $920, AT&T $950, and Sprint $960. And if you pre-order now, you can get the DJI gimbal and a 256 gigabyte micro SD card for free. Which is that's actually a pretty sweet pre-order bundle.
Yeah, it's like $200 or $250 worth of stuff.
Oh,
is that from all the companies or just Verizon?
I think that's a LG pre-order.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think that's
okay.
from LG.
So you can get it from you. What you do is you pre-order it through your carrier, and then they'll like give you a code or whatever to go onto LG's website. At least that's how it's been in the past. I know everyone's like focused on the cameras and stuff, but the thing I'm excited most about is the display, because I love OLED displays, and this now has an OLED display again, and the V30 was so bad, and LG did the displays for the Pixel 2, and they were awful too. But everything that I've seen has said the display is like almost as good as Samsung, and it's huge. It's 6.4 inches. I don't know. Am I crazy for thinking like the display is the killer feature here, not 5 cameras?
It better be. Like after the V30,
right?
it kind of has to be, because if they do have another, blunder like that, it could be a problem.
Yeah, you reviewed the V30. I mean, was it bad on your unit?
The display on it was worse than the OnePlus 3T.
Wow.
Ooh.
So
that's rough.
Do you personally, like, after having a display that bad, would you give another LG phone with a POLED display a chance?
not at $1,000.
That's fair.
For me, I like the phone as a whole, and which is generally the case of a lot of LG devices. The only drawback for me is the software, just because the software I'm used to is not the greatest. And the last LG phone I tried was like the G5 or maybe the G6, but I think it might have been the G5. But cameras are probably going to be great because they're good. Audio, which is another big thing I'm into, is probably again going to be great. The phone looks really good. It's just the software and the UI of the software is what's going to catch me. I don't think $1,000 or $950 is where LG should be starting.
I know it won't happen, but it would be amazing if they came out with a LG V40 ThinQ One, kind of like they did with the LG G7 One, that has Android One on it, and a little bit lower specs, but the price isn't as high. I would be all over that.
That would be cool.
Because you're right, Kean. Their software, it's gotten better. Like, I have the G7 now, and it's way better. I've had basically every LG phone that's come out in the last 5 years.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm a huge LG homer, and their software has gotten better. They're a lot like Samsung, where it used to be just terrible. But I would definitely go for something. Can we just have Google Play edition phones back?
God, just bring back the GPEs.
Come on.
Although I'd still only get pixels. Bring back the GPEs.
So, off the top of your head, what does this phone have that, say, for example, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus does not have?
5 cameras.
Assistant button.
Are those two things worth like $400?
I don't know how the cameras have performed, so I doubt even a mobile photographer would go with the LG over Samsung, just because that's a lot of money just based into your camera of a smartphone at that. I don't know. I don't think it's going to make a real dent.
Let's be fair. The S7 is still selling for like $600 to $700. The
Really?
S9 Plus, Did I say the wrong thing? I meant S9, selling for $600 to $700. The S9 Plus is a little bit more than that, and then you have this. It's probably $200 more than what you can get an S9 Plus for.
Okay. Is it worth $200 more?
I would get this over an S9 Plus.
Yeah, I probably would too, especially if I'm paying for it over 24 months. That's what, you know.
But would you get this over a Note 9?
Ooh, see.
I feel like that's the main competition, the Note 9 over the 7-9.
Not even a competition. It gets steamrolled instantly.
Okay, but besides the stylus, what does the Note 9 have that the
Samsung
V40 doesn't?
4,000 milliamp hour battery.
Okay,
Samsung's
point.
display is the best on the market.
And
Yeah, but this is supposedly pretty good.
Supposedly.
For me,
Yeah,
for the general
we've heard
public,
that
it's definitely
before.
going to be the name. Samsung's name is way bigger than LG, and that's
I
just
agree.
for general consumer.
Yep.
So I doubt this would be like the breakout device for LG.
LG's
Why do
been
you
looking
guys-
for a breakout device since the G2.
Not breakout, but like the one that's going to get them back better than Samsung or on the same level as Samsung.
My previous statement still stands.
Do you guys think that LG just missed the market again? I mean, we have
No.
so many examples of this with the G5 mods and the V30 display and pricing being all over the place. Do you think they just missed it this time?
I don't.
Yep.
I feel like for 2018 devices, this is a 2018 device. This is not, it's not like they pulled out something from 2017 and tried to pass it on to us. And it's not like they pulled out something that's super future-proof and super new and exotic. It's just like a typical 2018 device. It's
Hey,
a typical
Kian,
device that will come out this year.
I hate to tell you, man, we're in month 10 of 2018.
Yep.
It's
We're
still
almost
2018.
2019.
There's 4 or 5 devices coming out this month and next month, and I'm guaranteed that half of them are going to be typical 2018 device. Maybe 1 or 2 would be like, oh, that's cool for the next year.
Actually, the 6T is going to be the killer. Not your precious Pixel 3 with the ugly, stupid...
I know my Pixel 3 is
godforsaken
not going
notch.
to be the future one. I know that. I'm not even going to debate you on that. But
I don't think LG missed the market because I think them releasing a phone with 5 cameras is awesome. I do have a problem with the fact that only one lens has OIS.
Yeah.
But that if the cameras perform well and do what they're supposed to do, I think that's okay. But I don't necessarily, like, you guys are all like big display guys. I don't care. I look at my display as long as it looks crisp. That's all I care about. I don't care about OLED versus LCD and burn-in and if you hold the phone at a perfectly right angle, it has blue tint. I don't
care about that either, Andrew.
but when you're comparing two devices, it is relevant.
Absolutely.
Maybe practically speaking, it's not, but yeah.
100%. I was just speaking for me,
Yeah.
speaking as myself. I do like the fact that LG is still including the headphone jack. I know Samsung did, but if LG removes the headphone jack, then that removes one of the biggest selling points for the V series, which would be the DAC. So I don't see them doing that.
I was going to ask you if you think that's actually relevant for this phone.
What?
The headphone jack, having the headphone jack, saying that they have a headphone jack.
Yeah,
I think so. Because
They have
everybody else is removing it, so why wouldn't it be relevant?
Samsung and LG are it.
I mean, I agree. I guess when somebody says like Android phone with headphone jack, I only think of Samsung. I completely forget LG.
The quad DAC, though, that's a selling point for a very specific
so good.
subset of individuals. Like,
Yeah.
if you're audio focused and you listen to your phone with a wired headset, that's going to be your number one grab. Is that 32-bit quad DAC?
Yeah,
When they first introduced
Josh
that, it
Noriega.
was so great.
Josh Noriega is the resident audiophile here at Android Guys, and like, ask him if he would even consider the V40 if they removed it. It would be hard pressed for him. I don't think he'd say yes.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, that might not be a huge issue to a large portion of the population, but to the people that it matters to, it matters a lot.
Yeah, it's extremely important for them.
I feel like this device is turning into a niche device. Like, if you're into photography, get it. If you're into audio, get it. But if you're into like an overall phone, maybe not get it.
So
I don't know. I think that those are two areas where you want to be leading in the niche area. I mean, people stopped buying cameras because they have their phone. Um, you know, people watch stuff on their phones all the time. So having an amazing speaker on the bottom of it that gets super loud, that's awesome. Having a quad DAC that makes your music sound as good as possible. I mean, everybody uses streaming services now anyway, so diminishing returns. But those to sit this on a display shelf next to a Samsung device and be able to say this one has 5 cameras and it can do, it has wide angle and zoom but the Samsung, it can do some of those things and the display looks better. I mean, I think that is what LG is going for is, you want to kind of wow people when they walk into a carrier store and say, yeah, I want the phone that has 5 cameras. Why would I not want that?
Well, yeah, going after niches is good, but is it good for? I don't know. Is it good for most people? For me, like as a business standpoint, I don't know if I would try to go after most people or try to go after the people I know I will get. Like I know I'm going to get the camera people. So should I just go after them again, or should I start to try to get the mainstream?
So, Kean, let me ask this, and Matt and Donovan will, I don't know, they'll feel a certain kind of way, I'm sure. How is what LG's doing with their niche market any different than what OnePlus is doing with their niche market? Because they're both in niche markets.
What would OnePlus's niche market be now? Because they used to be price.
It's still budget flat. You can't say the G.
It's still
the
it's $600 now.
Yeah, the V40 just got released for $1,000. Okay?
It's still the cheapest flagship you can get.
The 6T, I guarantee the 6T will be less than $650, and actually, I'll guarantee less than $700, which is still $300 cheaper than this phone. So it's why is LG going after a niche market a bad thing?
I didn't say it was a bad thing. I just said this is a niche phone. I'm just saying like they're not mainstream anymore. They're going after niche. It's not a bad thing to do that. Okay. I think it's actually smart to know who your market is and to target your market and not to just jump into everybody else's market.
I tend to agree. I don't think this phone is going to appeal to the masses the way that the Samsung flagships do. I do think that it'll appeal to people that are focused on photography and who feel that it's important to have quality sound and quality cameras.
But why do you guys think that it's not going to appeal to the mass market?
It's not Samsung.
But
we see phones we see different products break into the market all the time and take over, the leader. Why can't LG do that here? I mean, I get that this phone isn't substantially better than an S9 Plus or a Note 9. But why wouldn't this be the phone of the masses?
Well, for me, it's a couple of things. Is one, nothing screams excitement for me besides the camera and the audio. It doesn't have it has the best of maybe one thing, but it doesn't have the best of many things. And I feel like people just want an overall best of phone. So that's why, to me, it's not going to overtake Samsung, and it's not going to be a mainstream phone. Besides just the Samsung name, which is crushing everybody.
I think the major problem that LG is facing right now is that Samsung already beat it to market by at least 2 months.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then if you compare the V40 to the S9 Plus instead, beat it by almost 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely sit here and make a case for the V40 versus the Note, but it's just making a case for playing devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. If you have any person walking in off the street and they want the best phone, they don't care about how much they're going to spend, they probably are going to buy the Note. So I get where you're coming from, but I disagree in the fact that I do think it can be an everyman's phone because it does do. I mean, it's fast. It has the same hardware as anything else. It undercuts the Note by $100. It's got 5 cameras. So, I just don't see what it's missing to go up against the big guys.
I think the biggest thing, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but the biggest thing is going to be that base storage amount, because people are going to see that 64 and think it's not as good. True. But what they don't understand is that just by pre-ordering it, you get an extra 256, which instantly puts it over the highest The highest you can get, right, for the Note, or can you get 512 on the Note?
You can get 512.
You can
Okay, so higher than the mid one anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it's because people aren't educated on, what they can get. But I mean, you can go get a 128 gigabyte micro SD card on Amazon for basically free.
For cheap.
I mean, it's nothing.
It's like $10-$20, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder if this is where, people, the guys that work in carrier shops, if this is the education part of their job.
I don't think carrier people really care about educating as much as they do about selling. Plus, a lot of people just look at numbers, and that's how they determine quote unquote best.
Yep.
And then I don't know how. I mean, LG's not the worst with marketing, but I don't know how their marketing is going to be for this phone. So, it's for like I said, the everyman that's just walking into a store. I don't know if this is going to be the one he picks up unless he has like a knowledgeable associate, unless he knows that, let's just not look at the first thing with the biggest poster. Let's look at everything.
So when I worked at Verizon, the biggest selling point for a phone was word of mouth.
Yeah.
My friend just picked up this phone and he said it's really good. Do you guys have it in stock? Can I buy one? So like, yeah, there is some like actual research involved that consumers do, but
More
a lot of
often
it's
than
word
not,
of
word of
mouth.
mouth.
And Samsung just kills it. They murder it. And I think LG's best play is to focus on that niche market, whatever you want to say, and just roll with that and be content with rolling with that and stop trying to do. Please don't ever do what they did with the G6 ever again.
I feel like it's going to be a couple years for anybody to take on Samsung, and for somebody to take on Samsung, they're going to have to focus and like get 100% of whatever their niche market is, whether it's price or camera or display or whatever, and then start moving out past that slowly.
Yeah,
or at least steadily.
I think OnePlus is the company to do it.
Agreed.
Not for America, I don't.
I completely disagree with you. They're going to come in.
If any company has a chance, it's OnePlus. Nobody else in the U.S. that already has a presence is going to be able to dethrone.
Yep, because they can let their parent company and Vivo and Oppo do spend all of that money designing things. They can come in here, undercut Samsung by $300 or $400, and have just as good of a phone. And people are going to be like, well, why would I spend, $400 more on a Note when I can have the OnePlus 6T? That's
still
crazy.
Have carrier pricing. We have monthly pricing, so people don't really see the 1,000. I mean, some people do, but I don't know. I don't believe in OnePlus that
for
much.
a phone for 24 months and paying. If I'm paying $50 a month, $40 a month for just my phone, I'm seeing that $1,000. Like, so my phone plan is $50-$60, and that's what that's the plan that I can afford. If I want to buy the Note 9, my phone plan immediately goes up to at least $100.
But you're talking about like $30 for like the OnePlus versus $45 for a Note. Is that big of a difference per month? Per month, I'm talking. Before you get to all the like phone plans.
Yeah, I mean it's still a difference. It's still something that you notice every month. If I can save $20 a month and get a cheaper phone, but have the same performance, then I'm going to save my $20 and get a phone with the same performance. But let's wrap this up for today. Thank you guys for joining us. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to us on Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Casts, or anywhere where you can find podcasts. Please also be sure to head over to AndroidGuys.com and click on the link for this podcast. Not only do we post the sources for all of our stories, but you can also find out more information on our sponsor, Blue Microphones. If you like how we sound, except for Kian, you should head over to the post for this podcast to get a 20% discount code. We absolutely love our Blue microphones, and we are not alone. Blue is an award-winning company and the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers. Their Blue Yeti USB mic is the internet's most popular microphone. For Matt, Donovan, and Kian, I'm Andrew Myrick. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.